RIP to this guy's barber, cause bro ain't ever getting a haircut again. Jamie Vardy's next chapter is as random as it gets, and Trent has already lost his starting spot at Madrid. This is DMAC Daily. Meme Chester divided, just put the fries in the bag. Ruben Amorim put the fries in the bag. Haaland 2.0 apparently. Yeah, put the fries in the bag. I mean, where do you even begin with this deeply unserious football club? Just when you think it couldn't possibly get any worse, further humiliation ensues. Deservedly beaten by a League 2 club. A League 2 club, mind you, who rested their leading goal scorer. Even as a card-carrying member of the United Hate Watch Association, I'm still crashing out because this is beyond farcical. The bomb squad must be laughing their asses off right now. They were the problem all along, right? Meanwhile, Ruben Amorim continues to lead this club into new lows. Do I think he alone is responsible for this calamity? No. But you have to be devoid of objective reality to not recognize that he is repeatedly failing, to a far worse degree than his predecessors. Take his horrific managerial record of United out of the equation. Just look at the starting 11 here. This wasn't an entirely rotated side. No, at least 6 of the starting 11 were regular first team players. The 11's combined value was £320 million, as opposed to Grimsby's 1.78 mil. United had to then call on an additional 256 mil worth of substitutes to try bail them out of a humiliation to which they still failed. Sure, Onana was comically disastrous, he's never coming back from this, but collectively, everyone was terrible, and Amorim bears responsibility for that. The image of him scrambling through their tactics manual trying to find a solution against a team they should be battering every day of the week, it deserves public mockery. This man is getting paid over 100 grand a week. How can any rational United fan still cling on to the idea that this guy is capable of fixing things? There's zero adaptability to his methods, zero innovation. Meanwhile, you have a guy like Thomas Frank at Spurs, who in his opening 3 games in charge has set up in 3 different formations to counter his opponents. That's tactical flexibility. That's competent management, unlike Amorim's perpetual 3-4-3 disaster class. Now, I've seen some reactionary fans blame Mbeumo and Cunha for missing decisive penalties, but if any United forward is worthy of legitimate criticism today, it's Benjamin Sesko. After going missing all game, he then steps up as their 10th penalty taker. This was their marquee striker signing, and he's petrified of stepping up for a penalty away at Grimsby in the League Cup second round. Sure, he did score, but that kind of mentality isn't what you want to see from your star centre forward. I could go on all day about this result. It's a laughably sad state of affairs. We almost witnessed another shocking upset in Germany, with Bayern Munich narrowly escaping defeat against third-tier side Wehen Wiesbaden. Harry Kane bagged a 94th minute winner, but this was still a worrying result for the German champions. They fielded a strong lineup, a front 3 of Diaz, Olise and Kane. Meanwhile, in the Champions League, the final 4 teams have qualified for the group phase in Azerbaijan's Karabakh, Benfica, Club Brugge and FC Copenhagen. Jose Mourinho had some interesting words following his side's defeat at the hands of Benfica, saying, if we were in the Champions League, we would probably have played 8 matches, but in the Europa League, we can go all the way to the final. 4D chess moves, 300 IQ plays from the special one. Jokes aside though, I unironically agree with this perspective. I don't think a side like Fenerbahce, even with their significant summer investments, have the capacity to compete with the Champions League's elite. The Europa League, however, I could see Fenerbahce going on a decent run. Meanwhile, Scottish giants Celtic and Rangers have been humbled in Europe. Celtic exited the UCL yesterday at the hands of Kazakhstani club FC Kairat, and now Rangers just got cooked 6-0, losing 9-1 on aggregate. Brutal stuff. I tell you, both of these clubs could have used a legendary striker like Jamie Vardy, but his next destination appears to be in Italy. Yes, the non-league bagsman turned Premier League icon looks destined to join newly promoted Serie club Cremonese, according to both Gianluca Di Marzio and Sky Italia. Everything about this potential move would be peak Jamie Vardy. Bro is 38 years old. After a legendary career, he could have taken a fat paycheck in MLS, maybe Saudi Arabia, or even a lucrative move to Hollywood FC. But you gotta respect the mad lad. He still wants to compete in a top 5 league. Personally, if I could have chosen his next destination, I would have loved a move to a Red Bull owned club purely for the memes, but I do think this move is fascinating, potentially becoming the club's first ever English signing and joining a team that will most likely be in a relegation scrap. Granted, they did beat AC Milan at the San Siro to open their Serie A campaign, so who knows, maybe Vardy comes in and goes full Scott McTominay in this league. I mean, he had 14 goal contributions in a woeful Leicester side last season. His entire career career has been defined by unexpected achievements. So even at 38, I can see him scoring frequently in the Serie A. Staying in the theme of transfer news with some quick fire updates, and Dortmund have signed a new centre forward in Fabio Silva from Wolves for 25 mil. Hamburg have got their hands on Croatian and Spurs wonder kid Luka Vuskovic on loan. A great move for all parties. I think this kid's going places. Eki Fernandez is heading to Leverkusen for 30 mil, a much needed addition for Ten Hag's midfield. Meanwhile, Dani Ceballos' proposed loan move to Marseille has collapsed as the French club were unwilling to wait on the Spaniard's decision. Juve are close to securing a deal for Kolo Muani in a 5 mil loan with an obligation to buy for around 55 mil. Meanwhile, AC Milan could be set to add a French forward to their ranks in Chelsea outcast Christopher Nkunku with a fee exceeding 30 mil in the works. And Besiktas have terminated Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's contract, paying him 1.75 mil in compensation with a return to England favoured. Speaking of Englishmen abroad, we gotta briefly touch on Trent Alexander-Arnold's situation in Madrid. The 26-year-old caused uproar with his transfer move to Los Blancos in the summer. However, the early signs indicate the grass may not be greener in sunny Spain. Remember, an additional 10 mil was paid to bring in the Reds Academy graduate ahead of schedule for the Club World Cup. But after a somewhat underwhelming tournament, followed by a lackluster debut at the Bernabeu, Trent was dropped for veteran fullback Dani Carvajal in the following La Liga fixture. The 33-year-old has fully recovered from an ACL blow and appears determined to fight for his starting spot. Granted, Vinny Jr. was also on the bench in their last league outing, but according to The Athletic, it's believed that Carvajal is expected to keep his place in Alonso's 11 for a long time, despite Trent's presence at the club. That is huge news. Don't get me wrong, Carvajal's a legendary player, one of the most underrated and accomplished fullbacks of the modern era, but there's no way Madrid lured Trent in by saying he'd come in as a second choice fullback. I mean, Trent's current evaluation is 75 million euros, the second most valuable fullback in world football. In the weeks ahead, this could become a controversial subject. Some have suggested maybe a midfield role could be on the cards for Trent, but Madrid already have so many options in that area of the pitch. Crazy times ahead. Anyways, guys, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to like, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you tomorrow.